Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to join me. I really appreciate it. I could be completely honest and transparent here when I say that I have been practicing doing some vocal exercises pretty regularly over the last few months so that at a particular time, if I ever had to drop a whole bunch of videos, I definitely would have the capacity of which to do that, like, because you gotta like have some lung capacity to make words come out of your mouth or whatever. I'm not exactly sure how it works, to be honest, but something like that. Regardless, I'm happy that I had done some of those things because I just had recently been sick, and I think that my roommate and I are still somehow a little bit sick, which blows my mind and should concern all of us, just because that would mean that he and I have been sick, him about a week longer than I have, but still like for 3 weeks now or something. So shout out to all the sickness out there. I mean, I guess it doesn't help when you have no job and you're just trying to do something so that at some point you do make a little bit of money and all of these things, and talk about long-term investment. That's what it's going down now. So all right, I honestly, and just no joke, this has happened many times today. I start opening with something and then I completely forget at all of what I was going to talk about. And that's very frustrating because if you get a couple minutes into these videos and then you forget what you're talking about and you have no way of editing them, and it's just a whole production of trying to still make the video work. And I'm happy to report that I still don't know what we were talking about, but that we're going to talk about something else now. Let's just move on with our lives. I guess what we could talk about is the oversaturated professional holiday sports schedules. Like, I guess that's what we're gonna talk about. And I just didn't mean to grab that out of anywhere, but like, it has come to my attention that a whole lot of Americans spend a whole lot of time watching sports for tradition on holidays. And I just want to say that I can vibe. That it's pretty cool. Actually, any time you get to hang out with other people. So I guess let's talk about that. Let's talk about how professional sports is a way to be social. All right, let's do that. I like that a little bit better. So, church is a social experience. Watching football on Sunday afternoon is a social experience. I feel like both of those actions can be argued either way for being good or bad. And I think I fall somewhere on the side of, while I do enjoy people getting together and stuff, I just wish we could get together to do other stuff, like improve the world, or make it so that people aren't hungry, or so that everyone has a place to live. I mean, that's all. Again, just priorities. I'm not saying that I don't like going somewhere every Sunday with my 10 best buds and eating hot wings while my really bad AF girl like is just there with me hanging out. You feel me? Like, hey, I'm a man. I'm a middle-aged hetero stupid man. I mean, why wouldn't I like those things? I would love those things. Are you kidding me? You'd got to be stupid not to love those things. I'm just saying that anything, especially sports, and I feel like there's actually a really cool video. I'm going to try to link it in the description, and I'm going to remember too. I will remember because this is going to be the last video that I do before I take a little break. And it talks about how sports, specifically college sports, are very community oriented. And I can't agree with that more. Nobody can argue with the fact that most places in most big town and small town America, even in the rural parts, if you go to the local grocery store, you should see a kind of insignia of the local university, whether it's a community college, JUCO, whether it's a vocational place, whether it's a D1 school. I mean, you're going to find merch, right? And as you should, because supporting your local community through schools is one of the best ways that you can actually participate and become civically engaged and feel value and provide worth to other people that are not just your family or friends, but indirectly people that could potentially be your friends but are just strangers, and moreover, same members of your community. Sports in America, I know I can speak directly to, are a very, very big sociable experience. And it doesn't matter if your team loses as a fan from that perspective, even. I'd argue a little bit more now that that's changed because we're getting people addicted to gambling now with with the allocation of, or the permittance rather, of going back on something that traditionally America had been really conservative on, which is the thought that we should be able to bet on sports in the first place. But nonetheless, look at a Friday night high school gym. I mean, the power of community is directly correlatable to social experiences that people share amongst one another. And anybody and everybody sitting at a football stadium, or in a football stadium, or in a gymnasium watching a basketball game, or at a stadium watching a baseball or soccer or American football, whatever it is, you feel me, can't say that even if they're not there to entirely watch the game in and of itself, they are there because they choose to be around thousands of other people. I mean, that's a informed decision you got to make. There's people that completely avoid large crowds forever and forevermore, and then there's other people that really engage and go down to these places and have a sociable experience. Most of the time it's a pleasurable one. Sometimes it is a terrible tragedy, if we're given real talk, and that's why we actually hear about those terrible tragedies, because that's how impactful they are as it concerns our direct impact and how it impacts us when we go out as well, because we all share in common the idea that we should be safe. And sometimes sociable experiences at large settings are not safe. But I really feel like there are more advantages to large events, as there rightfully should be. I myself have had the very pleasurable fortune of having experienced being on main stage fields at Bonnaroo and Coachella when there were crowds of 80,000 people. Like, that to me is an experience. Like, I can't explain that to people. Like, and unless you've been there and you've done it, it's really hard to explain. And I think artists are obviously good at giving explanations of how these things feel, because they're the performers and they get a real good view of everyone. But to be in the crowd is a little bit of a different feeling, and to be out in an open field crowd is a completely different vibe. And that's why these events are so popular. Not because, again, yeah, a lot of it, and I would, no, not because of any headlining artists. No headlining artist here in America is drawing those kinds of numbers with that kind of diverse population of people attending them. You only get this kind of vibe at music festivals. And if you've been to a show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, again, when people spend thousands of dollars to spend days of their lives camping out in some random privately owned field where they're just going to be drinking and smoking irresponsibly and legally, of course, all of these things I don't condone for, but that are a part of the sociable experience and that we talk about here on the channel. So try not to hate too much. I'm just saying, you feel me, that like, who would do that? Who would just pay thousands of people that really understand that there's no price to put on the kind of feeling you get when you're in that kind of a crowd. Now, moreover, I'm not the only one that has discovered this, right? Because in that same token, it's easy to say, but it's also incredibly difficult to afford a weekend at Coachella. I mean, y'all do realize that just by comparison, a weekend in Coachella or in Palm Springs at Coachella in Imperial Field, like, you're talking $5,000-$6,000 for a few days of camp living. So again, I'm just saying that, like, that's how much it's worth. how much are friends worth? How much is being around hundreds of thousands of people worth at one time? Because that's the human experience. It's worth a lot. I don't know. Ask Golden Voice again. How much is a ticket at Coachella for one weekend? I mean, I think that literally like a few $1,000s, and that's like for the basic entry level stuff. So I'm just saying that music and lots of other places are a big social experience. Sports are a big social experience. I'm glad that we got through this vlog. I hope that you guys have a really good night. I look forward to making 150 more videos in the next 6 days. But I'll tell you, if anybody can do it, it's me. And I will not sleep until this gets done. And I know that sounds weird because I do enjoy the most of my majority time sleeping. Like I like my beauty rest. Can't you tell? It only looks like I'm 60 and I'm really just 37. So I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thanks for watching my show. All right. Bye.